Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Anika and I'm an American living in London. And today I'm going to talk to you guys all about how to start a balcony garden or start a garden in a small space. So if you guys didn't know, I am an American living in London and I had an amazing garden on my balcony last year. I made multiple videos about it. I made a video about my first harvest. I made a video about my total yield. I even made a video about cleaning up my garden, which I will link all of those videos down in the description down below. And I will also link it up in a card right now for you guys to check out if you are interested in my gardening video. Now, I know a lot of you guys have subscribed to my channel recently because you are super keen on my gardening videos, and that is why I'm making this video for you guys today. And if you aren't already subscribed, what are you doing? Why aren't you a part of my YouTube family? Make sure you smash that subscribe button and be a part of my YouTube family because I am here to share all my gardening tips with you. So at the time of recording this video, it is the beginning of February and it's a little bit too early to actually start planting plants outside on a balcony or out in a garden in London because it's still cold and the frost is still around. But I wanted to make this video today for you guys so you guys can start planning your 2021 balcony garden. So based on my experiences last year, I wanted to make this video and cover all the tips and tricks on when you should start planting your garden, what I learned from my experiences last year, did I have any pests, how to plant in a small space, and honestly, how to see a successful yield of vegetables and crops. So make sure you guys stick around until the end of this video to get all my tips and tricks on how to successfully plan for a balcony garden and also get a great yield out of your balcony garden this year. So the first tip I want to share with you guys is all about planning. Planning is so important. Like anything else in life, it is so important to start planning your garden early. It is early Feb when I am recording this and I'm already starting to think about what I'm going to be planting this year and how to lay out my garden and all those things. Actually, I'm so curious to hear from you guys. What are you guys planning on planting in your garden in 2021? And what do you guys think I should be planting in my garden this year? Make sure you leave a comment down below letting me know what you guys are planning on growing and what else I should grow this year. So planning is so important, and I have to say the first thing I would recommend for you guys to do is to measure out your balcony space and also figure out which direction your balcony is facing. So you want to know which direction the sun is coming from because it's so important on a balcony. You're probably not going to get sun all day unless you have a south facing balcony, which you are super lucky. I actually have an east facing balcony, so I get sun in the mornings, and that is exactly how I plant, and where I plant my pots is based on where the sun hits my balcony. So most of my balcony is lit up in the early hours of the morning, but I have to say the majority of my balcony is probably kind of shady. So all my plants live on one side of my balcony. I also got pots that are super skinny and long, and the main reason I got these pots is in order to make sure that they fit into my balcony and I'm able to grow as many plants as I want in my small balcony space. I would recommend you guys measure out your balcony space, but also make sure you measure out the part of your balcony that gets the most sun, and then start to buy pots or order pots online that are based on that space that you do have. If you guys want to have links to any of the pots that I personally used and that I use on my balcony, I'll make sure to link all my gardening things down in the description below. So I'm going to be using the pots that I used last year. I also saved seeds from last year as well. So when I actually grew my tomatoes and I grew my jalapenos and I grew all the things I did last year, every time I actually harvested the crop, I saved all those seeds. And that's what I'm going to plant again this year because they were so successful last year. And also all my pots all nicely fit within my balcony and I know exactly where they're going to be. So I know where they're going to get the right amount of sun in order to see success. So I am going to put those out exactly the same way. But if you are a first-time gardener or you are going to start your balcony garden for the first time, I would recommend, honestly, go outside with a tape measure at the sunniest point of your day and measure out that sunny space and then go find pots that fit that sunny space. And if you are a first-time balcony gardener, I would recommend trying out some cheap seeds. I actually got all of my seeds last year from Wilko or Wilkinson here in the UK, and they were so cheap. They were like 50p for tomato seeds. They were like £1 for jalapeno pepper seeds, and it wasn't anything fancy. Honestly, I just went and got any seeds that I thought I wanted to grow. I was thinking, okay, I really like tomatoes and I really like chilies. So I started growing things that I really actually want to eat. So if you guys are stuck for things that you want to grow or you want to try growing this year, just think of things that you actually like eating or that you like cooking with, and then grow those on your garden. Remember, not everything is going to succeed, and I will get into that in a minute, but just give it a go. So my second tip with a balcony garden is reflecting back on what grew well and what didn't grow well. Now, if you're a newbie, like I said earlier, just make sure that you give everything a go and try it out, because some things are going to work and some things are not going to work. For me, the first thing that didn't work were Brussels sprouts, okay? So I tried these out for the first time, and I have to say that they were really, really small and I didn't get any yield from them. I think Brussels sprouts need a lot deeper of a pot, and I do think that I planted them too early. I should have planted them later because they are a winter crop. But overall, I'm probably not going to be planting Brussels sprouts because they just didn't work on my garden, and that's okay. Another thing that didn't work on my garden is strawberries. So strawberries require a lot of sunlight, a lot of sunlight. And again, like I said earlier, my balcony only gets sunlight in the morning. So for me, they just didn't work out. And I just felt like, you know what, as much as I love eating strawberries, maybe my balcony isn't destined to grow them, and that's okay. There are other plants you can grow on your balcony that are gonna see a lot of success. For example, my tomatoes and chilies did wonderfully last year, and that is probably what I'm gonna grow again this year, but probably not strawberries because it was a lot of energy and not that much yield. Actually, no yield, I killed them. Also, another learning that I got from last year is onions. So I planted red onions, and I think I planted way too many in a pot, and I think also they just overgrew and I picked them too early, and my onions were really tiny. They were still delicious, but I wanted the big fat onions. So if I do grow onions again this year, I would say I probably space them out a little bit more in the pot so they have a little bit more room to grow. But overall, I'm not sure if I will grow onions again because I didn't get what I wanted out of them. So I'm probably gonna try something new. So my third and final tip for all you balcony gardeners out there is to plant early and plant inside. So aside from planning out and starting to think about the space that you are going to be growing all your vegetables in, I would say you definitely have to plant inside, especially if you are in cold climates like in London. So right now is actually going to be the peak time that you should start planting your seeds. I am actually going to plant my seeds at the end of February, beginning of March. So I'm going to plant them inside, and I'm going to do a whole nother video on that. So if you guys want to see the entire process from start to end of how I grow things on my balcony garden, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. But anyways, as I was saying, I'm going to start growing everything in little pots inside. So make sure you guys start to plan that out and start to grow inside. I would recommend growing one seed in a small pot indoors where you can get as much sunlight to those pots, but also heat. It is really important when you are germinating your seeds for the first time, you want to apply as much heat. Not like a heater, but keep your pots in a warm place. The first time I tried growing my plants inside or seeds inside, I did not put them in a warm enough location and they never germinated. They never actually sprouted. They never grew. So I would say a mixture of a warm place, so maybe near a radiator or near a window where there is sunlight, and sunlight. The combination of the two is gonna help you guys grow from seeds. So it's important to start planting early inside, but don't start too early. Last year, I started in January. I was really excited, like a little bit too excited. But when I started planting in January, I did get little sprouts, my seeds germinated, and they did actually start growing. But because it was too cold to actually move them outside, they ended up dying because they were in such a small pot and the roots wanted to grow out, and I had to start all over again at the end of February. So I would recommend, if you are starting to grow in small pots inside, make sure you are starting late February, early March. So to wrap up this video, I wanted to just share some of my learnings as well of what I learned from the amazing yield I got last year. I got over 13 kilos of tomatoes and so many kilos of chilies, which was amazing. But I got a little bit too excited. I grew so many plants. I think I had like 50 plus or maybe even 70 plus tomato plants, which is crazy. Come on, I am one person. I cannot eat all those tomatoes and I couldn't even give them away fast enough. So what I would recommend is do a little variety of everything. That is what I am going to be doing this year. I am going to try to make a variety of tomatoes, chilies, because those did really well and I know they're gonna do really well, but I'm going to try a few new things as well. I'm not too sure what I'm gonna try yet, but I will do that in a separate video of what I will be growing in 2021, so stay tuned for that. But with gardening, it is so fun to try new things. I think that's half the fun of gardening. So don't give up on it. Don't sell yourself short if you don't end up growing as much yield as you would like. But I would say just try something new this year. And my final tip for you guys, if you are going to be growing a balcony garden this year, is make sure you have good soil. So when you are using certain compost and dirt and everything else on a balcony in a pot, you have to remember that compost is going to drain, as in all the nutrients from that compost is going to go through all your plants all year and it's going to drain through those pots, and you can't actually rotate the dirt like you would in a normal garden. So if you are going to be growing in pots or on a balcony this year, make sure you guys buy great compost, and I will link my compost down in the description below. Oh, also, another thing. On a balcony, you can still expect pests, okay? I got aphids on my balcony and I totally didn't expect that, but it is a thing. So pest control is something that you also maybe want to plan for on a balcony garden. Not something I actually thought, but it is a big learning from last year as well. Anyways, guys, I hope that gave you guys 3 solid tips on how to start a balcony garden in 2021 or planting anything in a small space in 2021. I know my balcony garden was my pride and joy last year. It really brought me so much happiness during the time of lockdown, and I feel like my plants thrived because I spent so much time gardening on my balcony. And you guys can see just as much of a yield, if not a better yield, if you guys just start planning early. And I hope this video gave you guys just the right tips to start your garden this year. Anyways, guys, I plan on uploading quite a few videos this year all about my balcony garden and gardening in London. So if you guys are keen on these videos and if you are keen on seeing exactly what I grow this year, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I upload 2 times a week on Thursdays and on Sundays at 5 p.m. GMT, and I would love to have you guys a part of my YouTube family. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys have an amazing day wherever you are in the world, and I hope to catch you guys in my next gardening video. Bye!